office at Paramount, and there were people lined up along the walls who worked for him, who were in shadow. I couldn't even see them. And there was Blake, and he gives me this script on a Friday. And I was living at a funky motel off of Sunset Boulevard at the time. And I took the script home, read it over the weekend, and I actually hated it. And I went in on Monday morning to meet with Blake again. More of these people in shadow. And so now he says, well, what'd you think of the script? And I said, Blake, I hate this script. This is one of the worst scripts. What? How many scripts have you read? Not many. But this is terrible. Your worst enemy wouldn't do this to you. They've just taken 2 episodes of your TV show and glued them together with a lot of meaningless. He stood up. And he had let everyone know, whoever met him, that he was a 9th degree black belt. And he stands up and he's hovering over me. He said, you don't know anything. You're just a goddamn kid. You don't know anything about scripts. And thank you for letting me meet an interesting person. And I left. I walked out. And as I'm going to the parking lot, a guy comes running after me. He was in that room. He said, Mr. Friedkin, yeah. He said, I'm Bill Blatty. He said, I wrote that script. I said, well, your name's not on it. He said, yeah, Blake often did stuff like that. I said, well, geez, I'm sorry. I don't. He said, no, you're right. We all know that the script is no good. Blake just wants to produce it, not direct it, and get the money. And I thank you for your honesty, because I know you lost a job in there. I had not seen him for 4 or 5 years. In the meantime, I had made the film The French Connection, which had not come out yet. And I was going on a publicity tour from Los Angeles to New York and then back. I finished my tour in New York, flew back through California, to San Francisco. But before I left, an envelope arrived from William Peter Blatty. And I thought, who in the hell is this William Peter Blatty? Oh, that's the guy that wrote that terrible Peter Gunn script. I threw the script in my suitcase and left. Now I'm in San Francisco, finished my tour. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was supposed to have dinner with some friends at 8. And I sat down in front of a beautiful view of the Golden Gate Bridge in a wonderful easy chair. I ordered a steak, and I start reading The Galleys of the Exorcist. And after an hour, I canceled my dinner and read the whole thing. His phone number was there. I called him immediately. I said, Bill, this is great. And he said, well, you know, this happened. I fictionalized it. I was an undergraduate in 1949 in Georgetown when this occurred. He said, I'm going to make a film out of it, and I'd like you to direct it. I said, why? I have no credits that would justify my directing something like this. He said, well, I'll tell you why. Because you're the only director I've ever met who never lied to me. Now, Warner Brothers did not want me to do the film. They had offered it first to Stanley Kubrick. And Kubrick turned it down because he only wanted to develop his own material. They then offered it to Arthur Penn, who did not want to do anything more about violence after Bonnie and Clyde. He turned it down, and Mike Nichols was then offered. And Mike Nichols said, you will never find a 12-year-old girl who will be able to carry this story. They all passed, and still Warner Brothers didn't want me, but Bill Blatty had director approval, and he insisted. And he told the two heads of Warner Brothers, Frank Wells and Ted Ashley, he said, you know, I really want Friedkin to do this. They said, he doesn't have the credits to do something like this. He did Boys in the Band, you know, this is nothing like this. And Bly said, that's the guy I want. And he said, by the way, I go on the Tonight Show a lot, because his book had come out in hardcover, and he was appearing with Johnny Carson very often on the Tonight Show. And he said, matter of fact, this Friday I'm going on the Tonight Show, and I'm going to tell Carson and his audience that I have director approval and you don't want me to have the director I want. And they said, Bill, this will just get us bad publicity. He said, I don't give a damn. I want Friedkin. So now the Friday comes along, and the French Connection happened to open on that Friday. And Blatty calls Frank Wells and Ted Ashley, and he said, he gets on the phone, and Wells says to him, Bill, is this about Bill Friedkin? He said, yes, and I'm going on the Tonight Show tonight. And Wells said, well, Bill, we just saw the French Connection, and now we want him more than you do.